My name is Susie Canales. I'm the Director of Citizens for Environmental Justice based in Corpus Christi, Texas. Because of threats and intimidation tactics I've been subjected to, and others in my group, I began taping phone conversations with port industry members for my own protection. A few months ago, on a phone conversation between myself and a Port Industries of Corpus Christi representative, I heard a couple of unsettling things that I'd like to share with you here. A little background on the players involved. Port Industries of Corpus Christi, or PIC, is a very powerful group, an association of 15 port-related entities which include 6 monster oil refineries and several chemical plants. The refineries include Coke, they call themselves Flint Hill Resources now, which has paid the largest federal and criminal fines in U.S. history, and Citgo, which is currently under federal criminal indictments for dumping tons of uncontrolled benzene, a carcinogen, into the environment. So it seems silly that they would consider an ordinary person like myself fighting for environmental justice the arch enemy of an association whose combined worth must be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. So the question is, what did we do to stir them up, as you just heard on the tape, and become their arch enemy? Well, our group, Citizens for Environmental Justice, or CFEJ, was formed after my sister Diana Bazan died of breast cancer. It was then that we became aware of environmental racist issues in Corpus Christi, dating back to the city's race zoning practices, when people of color and low income were forced to live by the most polluted areas. Even though the restrictions were lifted long ago, nothing has really changed because no one has done anything to correct the effects of the race zoning. It's still mostly people of color and low income that lives by the most polluted areas. Refinery Row is a 10-mile stretch that contains the largest cluster of oil refineries in the United States, and it's mostly people of color and low income that live by these giant refiners and bear a disproportionate amount of the pollution. One of the things we've done to help achieve our goal is that we've launched a bucket brigade program which enables us to take our own air samples. These samples have shown very high levels of gases in the community, including cancer-causing benzene. Our work also involves patrolling Refinery Row to conduct our own air samples and to document events. We use this documentation to fight expansion permits when industry proposes to increase emissions that would adversely affect the surrounding community. We recently had a huge victory on a proposed Citgo expansion permit. Citgo had proposed to increase their sulfur dioxide by over 500 tons per year. We also use the documentation for reports that we write for outreach and education. Reports such as this booklet we recently released, Corpus Christi, Texas, Criminal Injustice in an All-American City, Toxic Crimes, Race Zoning, and Oil Industry Pollution Cover-Up. And this report, SEPs, Supplemental Environmental Projects. The most affected communities are not receiving satisfactory benefits. However, as the group's leader, I've been singled out. For example, even though Citgo knows who we are and that we've been patrolling Refinery Row for years and always on public roads, they reported me to the National Response Center last spring, which led to the FBI interviewing me in my home as a possible terrorist threat. Our work also includes advocating for health studies. This advocacy work has brought about an awareness of public health issues in the area, especially birth defects. The latest in the series of birth defect studies we initiated was released July 2006 and showed that Corpus Christi has 84% overall higher birth defects than the rest of the registry, which is the rest of the state. Which brings us back to the phone conversation. Port Industries of Corpus Christi invited people with the state that are working on the studies to town. PIC, or Port Industries of Corpus Christi, did not invite the general public. Instead, the meetings were only for carefully selected groups of people. One such meeting was for the plant managers only. I insisted on being present during that meeting, but was told repeatedly by the PIC that I could not. It was during this exchange that I got a glimpse into what seems to be the real Port Industries of Corpus Christi that the public doesn't get a chance to see. So, fighting for environmental justice, part of which includes speaking out on environmental racist issues, advocating for health studies, air monitoring, releasing outreach and educational reports, and fighting expansion permits is what appears to have stirred them up. It's my belief that the PIC image of being a highly respectable body and good neighbors of the community is a sham. The taped conversation strongly indicates that they have a sexist attitude and are tyrants. We're sharing this information on this forum in an effort to shed light on this injustice. Thank you.